Just before the cameras rolled, I asked Joe Ramasamy how he would like me to introduce him. This was not merely out of politeness, it was also out of helplessness. He's acted in over 200 movies, he's directed several films, he's been a script writer, a playwright, a political activist, a very successful columnist, a very successful editor, and I wasn't quite sure which one I should focus on. Joe's answer, of course, was no help at all. He said, as you like. So I'm not going to break with tradition. I'm going to ask him how he wants to be introduced. Let's sort of start with bit by bit. The films. How many films have you made?
Well, I have acted in about 200 films.
200?
200, yes.
All right.
That is nothing very big for a comedian to do in Tamil films.
All right.
Well, I have directed 4 films. I have scripted 14.
14?
14. I have written 23 plays. They have been performed more than 5,000 times all over India, wherever Tamilians live. And, well, this journal has been Thuglak.
That's Thuglak, yeah? Which is named after one of your more famous plays.
Yes, Muhammad bin Thuglak.
Right.
Where I resurrect Muhammad bin Thuglak from the grave to become the Prime Minister of India.
In the present day scenario.
Yes. I was the legal advisor for the TTK group of companies for about 18 years.
You're a qualified lawyer.
Yes, I was a practicing lawyer in the Madras High Court for about 6 years before I joined TTK and Company as their legal advisor. Well, I have been on public platforms doing campaigning now and then.
And you're sort of very much a Svengali in the back room in Tamil politics, is that fair? Making alliances work and making them not work?
Now and then.
Now and then. I really agree. You see now why it was so difficult to work out how to introduce him. Well, let's start with sort of top of the mind subject. How long have you known Jayalalitha?
Well, I knew her from her age of 6. I was a member of a particular troupe, an amateur dramatic troupe, in which her mother and aunt were acting. She used to accompany them to the rehearsals and to the plays. That is how we started knowing each other.
The sort of picture she's painted of her childhood was that it was heavy going. There was one kind of dance practice after another kind of dance practice, after studies, after drama practice. And she says she was never very happy just going from one thing to another. She never really had a childhood. Did you see that sense?
She had ambitions of becoming a lawyer and all that.
And she said she was very good at studies but never had a
Yes,
chance.
she was brilliant.
She was brilliant.
Studies, yes. We were in the theatre together in some of the plays and in films also, yes.
What was she like then?
She was a competent actress.
Not more than competent?
I would say competent.
Okay. Apparently she was also a very nice person, quite quiet.
Quite lovable. She was somewhat reserved, which was mistaken for arrogance. It was not arrogance. She was reserved. And she was such a bookworm at that stage of her life that even on the sets of a film, she would go on reading books.
When MGR died and when Jayalalitha was sort of down and out, for want of a better term, you were one of the people who supported her. Is that fair?
Yes,
Why
not
did
immediately.
Afterwards?
After some time.
Why did you do that?
Because I had always been in search of an alternative for the DMK. You see, at that point of time, Karunanidhi had started coming very close to the Liberation Tigers.
Of the LTT?
LTT. The state government was in collaboration with the LTT. That was the charge on which he got dismissed. Only she was capable of providing the change. That is why I supported her. But after she came to power, the government became corrupt.
No, let's start. When she came to office, the story is she offered you a ministership?
No, nothing.
And that you refused it and she took this ill?
No. Nothing of that sort.
So when did the differences start?
Differences for me start with any chief minister immediately on assumption of office.
Immediately?
Because I am a critic of the government. I call my paper a responsible opposition. Whether it is Jayalalitha or Karunanidhi, they don't like anybody to indulge in vehement criticism of their rule. I started criticizing her government also.
Were you objecting only to her corruption or were you objecting to her style of governance?
Style of functioning, the corruption, not only that, the high-handedness.
In fact, after she stepped down, or even before she stepped down, you are credited with having brought Mupnar and the TMC close to the DMK. Is that accurate?
Well, I was one of the marginal players, say.
Yeah, you're being modest. Despite all that, you've actually made up with Jayalalitha, haven't you?
Yes.
How did that happen?
Well, after these years, I had not been highly disapproving of Karunanidhi's regime. Of course, I was mentioning the charges of corruption and other things. But I started writing that Karunanidhi should go, the DMK should go, because it was developing contacts with extremists and was becoming soft towards extremism in the state. That started when the Veerappan episode erupted, when Rajkumar was kidnapped.
Right.
And I started writing vehemently against it. I think perhaps I am the only journalist in Tamil Nadu who did it. Nobody else agreed with me. People disagreed with me. But that must have, I think, given the idea to Jayalalitha that I was going to oppose this government tooth and nail, which I started doing then itself. Then on the Deepavali day, we exchanged greetings and then...
Exchange greeting means who made the first move?
Is that very relevant?
Yes, of course. That's the interesting one. Yeah. Okay, so she
Well,
did.
we met and we started meeting quite often.
And you forgave her all the misgovernance, the corruption, everything?
You see, who am I to forgive when there are cases against her?
Right.
There are 2 convictions against her. There are pending cases against her. The verdict is going to be that of the judiciary. How can a journalist forgive a politician of corruption when she has been already held guilty by a lower court and the appeal is pending? Ultimately, the verdict has to be that of the judiciary. It cannot be that of a journalist.
That nicely disposes of that question, but you didn't mind all the things that you had complained about earlier?
I did mind. Even now I say that she is answerable to the law of the land.
Forget law of the land, but
yes.
journalists are not lawyers. I mean,
Yes.
we make criticisms on the
Yes.
basis of moral standards.
Well,
and
I
standards.
never said that Jayalalitha's corruption does not matter hereafter. I have never said that it has become irrelevant.
But it doesn't
But
matter
at the same
enough.
time, I have said that the problem now facing the state is that of the government coming close to extremists and hobnobbing with them. The state becoming soft towards extremism, towards Tamil nationalism. I said Jayalalitha on this front would give a better government. The ADMK, I have said. And also, even while saying that the DMK should go, I have not said that the ADMK should come. I have said, yes, the benefit of my saying that the DMK should go will naturally go to the ADMK.
Sure. You've gone further than that. You actually helped construct this front.
Construct?
Yes.
That is what is being alleged.
Yes.
Yes.
And I don't think you're going to deny it, in all honesty.
You see, so many factors help in making up an alliance. If I say that I was the reason behind this, then I would be claiming credit for a
But I'm not
victory
even saying
which
that.
does
I'm
not
only
belong to
saying
me.
you helped in its construction.
I was one of those who was involved.
I.e., yes.
Yes.
So then,
No,
despite all the things you said about her, you were quite happy to bring her back.
I will tell you what happened. I told Jayalalitha that it is in her interest to see that she has all these parties in the alliance. Otherwise, the DMK cannot be defeated.
Then you went to the parties and said the same thing. Yeah.
I told Moopanar that this must be his first option. And that a third front would become a cropper.
That's a pretty good definition of helping constructive alliance, don't you think? So now you've kissed and made up, no problem?
No, hereafter there will be problems because she is the chief minister. I am her first critic.
Jayalalitha being elected, you think there will be problems?
Well,
between you and Jayalalitha?
Already there is at least one viewpoint of mine with which she cannot agree, and she has not agreed.
Which is?
That is, I have said that while there is absolutely no legal bar for her getting appointed as the chief minister, I have gone to the extent of saying the governor should either appoint her as the chief minister if she is elected, or should resign and go, or should recommend dissolution of the assembly, or should recommend suspension of the assembly. And it is much better to appoint her. But I finished saying Jayalalitha should opt out of the race herself, thereby creating a good precedent. If she opts to become the chief minister, then she would be setting up a very bad precedent where a convicted person can become the chief minister. There is a lacuna in the constitution and she should not exploit it.
How did she react to this?
She didn't agree.
Well, that is clear, but
Yes.
in terms of your relations?
I expect silence from her hereafter.
Explain something to me. This is not just to me, to many of the viewers outside of Tamil Nadu watching this program. All of us read the criticisms of people like you against Jayalalitha. All of us said when she was defeated and then she was convicted that this is a victory for morality in public life, etc. She's now elected despite all this by a landslide, despite a conviction she's sworn in as chief minister. What makes the people of Tamil Nadu do this about turn?
As far as I am concerned, I will give this explanation. I did not campaign for Jayalalitha to become the chief minister. I told you just now. I said she should opt out of the race. You see, now if she had nominated somebody else and got him elected as the leader of the house, do you think there would have been this criticism?
No.
No, it makes the difference.
But she would have still run the state, no?
Regardless. Yes, they would have, it need not necessarily be the Bihar type of arrangement where Lalu dictates and Rabri Devi takes the dictation. It need not necessarily be like that. As far as the state, this is my position.
You really believe that if she had appointed a chief minister, she wouldn't dictate terms to him?
Even if she had dictated terms, it would be like any party chief doing it to a chief minister or prime minister.
The AIDMK being a democratic party.
In the setup itself, the party chief, he has a lot of say in the governance of the state, though he is not the chief minister.
We're not going to agree on this. We're not going to agree on this.
There really is no alternative as on today between the two Karagams, the DMK and the ADMK. If the DMK is elected, then Stalin could manage a party in power. Whereas with the DMK out of power, Stalin would not be able to keep the party together as Karunanidhi was able to do. Stalin doesn't have it in him. Whereas the ADMK, if it comes to power, is going to be weak because of the legal hurdles and also weaken the DMK. Then it will be possible for a third force to emerge.
Are you optimistic that
this has been my, I think so. I still believe in it.
Okay. One more question, which is what is it about films and Tamil politics? You've been in films, Jayalalitha has been in films, Karunanidhi came from, MGR came from. What is this connection
between?
As
far as Karunanidhi, Annadure and MGR are concerned, their political career started much earlier than their film careers. Much earlier, at least a decade earlier. They were first politicians and then only film writers. Whereas MGR, very early through his film career, he joined the Congress party and then shifted to the DMK. He was a DMK campaigner for 2 decades, star campaigner for the DMK. Only after that, he was able to form his own party. Jayalalitha was in politics for more than 10 years before she became the leader of the ADMK. So it is not as if they have walked straight into politics from the screen.
But the two
Whereas in Andhra Pradesh, take the case of NTR. He was an actor, formed a party, contested an election, won it and became the chief minister all in a matter of about 6 months. That never happened in Tamil Nadu. And several matinee idols.
NTR is a one-off in Andhra politics.
Yes.
Whereas in Tamil politics, films and politics appear to go hand in hand. Even now, the sort of hold Rajinikanth appears to have on voters, that any party Rajinikanth campaigns for generally does well. Isn't that fair? In fact,
it is a fact that Rajinikanth has a hold on masses. And even I believe that if he launches a party, it will provide a good alternative. And that is because...
In fact, there is a story to the effect that you got him to campaign for the DMK when he did against Jayalalitha.
So many things are credited to me. So many
you can deny them, Joe. You can deny them. There's no problem.
Well, why should I deny when you are giving me a tribute? Why should I deny?
Very clever. Okay. But do you think Rajinikanth could be the alternative?
Well, I believe so because of his social concern. With MGR also that was the case. An actor who is a mere actor is not accepted as a political leader by the people in Tamil Nadu.
But isn't that odd? If you were to compare to Hindi cinema, nobody would say that the Congress is useless, the BJP is useless, our only solution is Shah Rukh Khan. Yet you would say something like that in Tamil cinema. What makes the difference?
What is the social concern that Shah Rukh Khan has shown?
So is it your case, therefore, that Tamil actors are more socially concerned than Bollywood actors?
Not all. Those of them who did not click in politics. Bhagiraj tried, T. Rajendra tried, Shivaji Ganesan tried, S.S. Rajendran tried, K. R. Ramasamy tried. So many of them tried and failed. Whereas MGR succeeded. Rajinikanth may succeed.
About yourself, have you ever considered joining politics?
Well, I was a member of the Janata Party once. Chandrasekhar suddenly, in a public meeting, announced that I am going to join the Janata Party.
In fact, you spoke in Delhi also, I remember during that period.
Even without being a member of the Janata Party, I had campaigned for it. I had campaigned for the Congress also. But I couldn't refuse him on the dais. So I agreed. But after 1 year there, I left. I told him that I am not
in your blood?
No, I can't be a member of any political party because I am not capable of compromises, of adjustments and all that.
You've been known, for want of a better term, as a sort of prankster with a purpose. I remember in 1980, I think it was, when Sanjay Gandhi died in that car crash, and the government of plane crash, sorry, the government of India issued a stamp,
Stamps.
and you issued your own stamp. Tell
Yes,
us about it.
to honor the other person who died along with him. Because two persons died in the crash, the government was honoring one person. So I decided to honor the other person. I issued stamps in my journal. And the funny thing was, the readers started sending me letters, pasting those stamps, and the postal department religiously stamped them and sent it. They became valid stamps for some time. Only after that, only after we published these letters in Thuglak, copies of it, only then the postal department woke up and stopped that.
You've also been cited for privilege in the Tamil Nadu Assembly about a
Well, I have
cartoon with
been,
donkeys, apparently.
I published a cartoon in which from a building noise emanates, all kinds of noises, meaningless noises. Two donkeys which are standing outside the building from the assembly, two donkeys which are standing outside the assembly, they tell to each other, come on, let us run away, otherwise people will think that we are braying. And they hold me up for contempt. I said, and asked me to apologize. I said, if I have to apologize, I have to apologize to the donkeys. No, I gave it in writing.
What happened then?
Then the privileges committee started questioning me. I started questioning them, and it went on for some time. Ultimately, the assembly was dissolved.
So nothing
So
came
nothing.
of it. Let's talk a little bit about you.
I buried a time capsule also.
What did you put in the time capsule?
I said, I am the man who fought for independence of this country. I am the man who framed the constitution of this country, all the sort of thing, and buried it.
Somebody will dig it up. You realize 100 years from now. And
during one of the annual general meetings, I did this.
you will be honored in history books 100 years from now for things you did not do. But let's talk about some things you did do. Of the two real strands in your career, one is acting and the other is writing. If I asked you to pick, what do you see yourself as, a writer or an actor?
I would feel that I have done better as a writer.
What do you see yourself as? As an actor who's a better writer
As a
or as
man
a
in
writer?
search of an identity.
Come on,
Because,
come on.
because when I am in the company of lawyers, they think I am an actor. When I am in the company of actors, they think I am a journalist. When I am in the company of journalists, they think I am a politician.
And when you're all alone at night, what do you think?
I search for an identity.
Come on. Yeah, ducking the question is usual. But there is, you will concede, even if we were to leave aside this actor versus writer thing, there is a sense in which the prankster, the man who does this time capsule, contrasts with the strict lawyer. Which, were you always a prankster?
Well, why should not a man have two streaks running?
No?
Why not?
So were they both running concurrently?
Well, I will tell you something. There was a case in my company. A man had to be dismissed. He was an executive. So I did not go through all the rigmarole that is prescribed by the law. I dismissed him straight away. And he filed a case saying that he was a mere clerk and that there was no rules of procedure followed. And he had to be reinstated. That was his case. And I had no shred of evidence to prove that he was an executive, except his signing some letters and all that, which he explained away successfully. Then I did something. I gave an advertisement in the Hindu asking applicants to apply for an executive position in a senior pharmaceutical firm and gave as the qualifications required, all the qualifications that he had with the service he had and experience as an executive. He wrote a letter saying that I have been an executive in this company for this long time. I have been doing this, that. I won the case.
That's quite a
You call
cunning
this
thing
a
to do,
prank
is
or law? Both these streaks do run in me. I find myself.
It's cunning also, in addition to everything else. Any unfulfilled ambitions or none at all?
No, nothing.
And no regrets?
I am a man without ambitions.
Regrets?
Nothing really. No regrets. I don't have a regret.
Life is as smooth as you say?
I have been
regret.
lucky. I have been very lucky. Things have been happening to me. I was on this stage doing plays. Even that happened accidentally because the troupe which we run now, they didn't have a play. So they were in search of a play. I said, I will give you a play.
And
I
that's how
gave
you
them a play.
And that's how you became a playwright.
I became a playwright. And there was no actor for a particular role. I was asked to do the role. It clicked. I became an actor. Shivaji Ganesan saw one of my plays. So I liked it so much. Not written by me, a play in which I acted. When they filmed it, he wanted me to do the role which I did on the stage.
So you became a movie star.
I became a movie star. And one day when we were traveling from Annamalai University, my friends were teasing me, saying that you were answering this questions put by students. You should have said, I don't know the answer. You are answering them on politics, on economics, on everything. You should have pleaded ignorance. I said, why should I do? I will even write these things. They then asked me, who will publish it? I said, I will start my own journal. That is how this journal was born. So everything has been happening to me.
A series of fortunate
accidents.
What
I
about
did
this
not plan
visual
any
image?
of
What
it.
about the visual image? The ash, the eyebrows which you paint on.
Well, about 30 years, must be, yes, nearly 30 years back. All of a sudden, I lost hair all over my body.
Okay. What caused it?
No, the doctors were not able to find out what the infection was. Now I have a certificate even for my brain saying that it is all right because everything was tested.
Okay.
There is no infection at all. It was called total alopecia. It was diagnosed like that. And there are some cases in medical history like that. And after that only I started painting my eyebrows because I wanted to be somewhat presentable.
But you can't really see them with the glasses.
Pardon?
But you can just
Yes,
about
that's
see them
what
with the
it is.
glasses. And the ash, the caste mark?
The vibhuti. Well, I am a firm believer in that.
So
Firm
it's a sign of
believer in
faith.
God, in Hinduism, in scriptures. I have translated the Ramayana and Mahabharata in detail for Thuglak. They have been received very well. And I am a firm believer in that and in these customs and tradition. So whenever possible, I do wear it.
Well,
vibhuti.
considering all these things, you're a very remarkable man, Cho Ramasamy. I wish you lots of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.